In this clip, we'll talk about claustrophobia, which is the fear of closed spaces. Most people, when they think about claustrophobia, they think about really tight, little holes in the wall, or maybe being stuck in a well or a hole or an elevator. But those are just the most common thoughts that come to mind. Really what it means is any kind of space where you feel confined. So some people can even feel claustrophobic in a room that has 4 walls, with just one door. Maybe it doesn't even have a window. The main idea behind it is the person feels like they need to escape. Or maybe you feel, if you're experiencing claustrophobia, like you need to escape. Like things are just too small, they're closing in, and you're just really worried about safety. If you're claustrophobic and one of your fears is being stuck in an elevator, you can kind of work through, and if you have a counselor, they can help you do this. But also, if you're at home, as long as you don't have panic attacks, then you can kind of do this process as well. And what it's called is a guided fantasy. And what it involves is it's kind of, think of it as a story you tell yourself, but you try and tell it to you where you really try and picture it visually. So guided fantasy can kind of take a person through the experiences and fears and emotions that they might have associated with a specific thing, like being in an elevator, but without actually placing that person in an elevator. So if you're with a counselor, for example, they would probably have you relax, take your deep breaths, close your eyes, and then they would tell you a story, gradually working you into, okay, and then this person got on an elevator and they were traveling up, but it was a special elevator, an elevator where it had glass windows and they could see all the beautiful things outside, and depending on what your specific relaxation things are, they could add in, maybe they heard the sound of waves and oceans. Basically, the idea would be to take you into the elevator in a safe environment without actually placing you in the place where your phobia is at its highest, and get you to think of it as a relaxing experience. So then when you actually were going to be in an elevator, instead of thinking of it as this horrible, terrible, bad thing, and your heart start racing, you would be able to then remember the story and think about it as, this is the elevator with the glass walls, and I can see all this wonderful things, and I can hear things. And before you know it, the idea is you'd be able to get off that elevator without having had any of the symptoms that you normally would have had.